Something you want to, if you're just going to read me a giant sovereign citizen objection to my jurisdiction, I'll give you 2 minutes. The right to travel is.
Yeah, and I made that clear to the officer that I was traveling. I wasn't driving. I had that.
Were you in a car?
I had that film too.
So were you in a car?
Yes, I was.
All right, you were operating a motor vehicle. And were you in the city of Taylor?
Right here is the first critical mistake. The traveling, not driving argument sounds constitutional, but courts have rejected it for decades. Once you admit you were in a car, operating it on public roads, traffic law applies. This moment quietly locks the court's jurisdiction in place.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not participating in this, sir.
I would.
Well, you know, this is a court of law.
I would have to know because there's no injured party in this case. So
There doesn't have to be.
there does. In order to set a bond against me, there has to be an injured party.
We have a charge of speeding of 11 to 15 over. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Has an offer been made on that, Mr. Zick? No discussions?
No discussions.
Would you like to have discussions with him regarding that civil infraction?
Yeah, I would like it dropped.
Pause for a second. This is the fork in the road. A no points reduction is on the table. Take the deal, protect your license, or reject it on principle and roll the dice. What would you do here?
Okay. Well, I don't know that he's doing that, but he might offer you a reduced ticket with no points. I mean, I don't know that he will. I don't know what he'll offer you, but there could be a reduction. Do you want to discuss that possibility with Mr. Zick?
Yes, I'd like to.
Okay, I'll let the two of you discuss that. And I did receive your filing. I'm reviewing it now.
Okay.
So if that's what you're intending to put on record, it is officially part of the court file.
Okay.
So we don't need to do it orally because it's part of the file.
All right.
Okay? All right, I'll let you two talk and I'll see you back in just a few minutes.
And there it is, offer rejected. No points, lower risk, and he says no. From this moment on, the margin for error disappears. Court is no longer about philosophy, it's about evidence.
We're back on record. Were you two able to have discussions?
We had the discussion, Your Honor, but we're unable to reach resolution.
Okay, so was an offer made?
Yes.
Okay, can you just tell me what the offer was?
Yes, Your Honor. The people offer to reduce the charge of speeding 11 to 15 over to a double permit.
All right, and Mr. Page, you understand that's a civil infraction, has a fine of $165, but it doesn't have any points on your license.
Right.
Okay, and you've rejected that offer?
I have.
Okay. All right, so we're proceeding with our hearing then.
Okay.
Mr. Page, is there something you want to, if you're just going to read me a giant sovereign citizen objection to my jurisdiction, I'll give you 2 minutes to put whatever you want to put on record, and then we're proceeding with the hearing. Fair?
Don't I have the right to be heard lawfully?
Well, you have the right to ask questions to the witness and to, make any arguments you want to the court.
Right.
But as far as jurisdictional arguments, the court does have jurisdiction.
Okay, is this court operating in administrative or judicial law?
I'm not participating in this, sir.
I would.
Well, you know, this is a court of law.
I would have to know because there's no injured party in this case. So
There doesn't have to be.
there does. In order to set a bond against me, there has to be an injured party.
Okay. Anything else? I am operating under the laws of the state of Michigan and the Michigan Constitution. And that's the information that I'm willing to provide. And and I'm certain you're aware of that, sir. You've lived in the United States for your life.
And I'm also aware that I have the right to freely travel at my own vehicle
Correct.
that I maintain and take care of. There was no injured party. I was not engaged in commerce or commercial activity.
Okay. Well, they can get tickets too for speed.
I'm protected under the Constitution. Speed limit's not law. The Constitution says that.
Actually,
The speed limit
The
is statute, code, and ordinance.
correct.
This is where constitutional language collides with traffic law reality. The right to travel exists, but it doesn't cancel speed limits, licensing, or insurance. Rights can be regulated, and courts have upheld that again and again.
Statute and ordinance, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So how could I be charged if we're operating under this type of law and no injured party?
Well, your federal right to travel under the or the federal constitution doesn't mean that you're not subject to regulatory. I mean, do we not have to get driver's licenses? Do we not have to get car insurance? Do we not have to follow basic speed laws? I mean, you can have a constitutional right with limits and or regulatory provisions or statutory provisions. The right to drive is not written in the Constitution. The right to travel is.
Yeah, and I made that clear to the officer that I was traveling. I wasn't driving. I had that.
Were you in a car?
I had that film too.
So were you in a car?
Yes, I was.
All right, you were operating a motor vehicle. And were you in the city of Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't operating a motor vehicle though. I was traveling freely down the road.
In a motor vehicle.
That I maintain and take care of myself. That's my property.
Okay. I understand that. That doesn't affect this. I mean, you were driving a car in the city of Taylor. Yes. Okay. And that's why we're here.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, people who would waive opening at this time would be prepared to call their first witness when you're ready.
Okay. Call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we call Corporal Billy Schillenberg to the stand.
Corporal Billy Schillenberg, Johnson number 260.
And you're employed with the Taylor Police Department?
I am.
And what's your position with the police department?
My rank is a corporal and in the traffic bureau.
And Mr. Schillenberg, were you working back on November 4th of 2024 in the afternoon hours?
I was monitoring traffic on southbound Telegraph, south of Brush Road, when I observed a silver Ford Fusion traveling faster than the vehicle around it, which time I activated my LiDAR device, which I am trained and certified to use in the state of Michigan. Pointed the LiDAR directly at the hood of Mr. Page's vehicle and received a reading of 58 miles per hour and 45 mile per hour zone. The way the LiDAR works is when you point the LiDAR at the hood of the vehicle, it'll give you a speed reading and a feet reading. So the feet is the distance away from where the LiDAR is to the vehicle approaching my position.
And based on the reading that you received of 58 and you were monitoring a 45 mile an hour zone, what did you do next?
Set my LiDAR device down. I maintained visual sight of the vehicle that I got the reading from. When Mr. Page approached my patrol vehicle, when I exited the parking lot which I was sitting in.
Objection, I approached your vehicle.
All right. I think, can you just clarify when you say?
I never got on my vehicle.
All right. Well, let's let him clarify the answer. I took it to mean something
Sorry.
else. But no, you have a right to make an objection. Can you just have him clarify what he means by that?
Yes, Corporal Schillenberg, can you please clarify your last statement?
So I'm sitting on the west side of Telegraph Road, monitoring southbound traffic in a parking lot.
And that was the parking lot of Turbo Motors?
Yes.
12200 Telegraph?
Yes.
Okay.
So as he passed my vehicle in his automobile, that's when I exited the parking lot, pulled behind his vehicle, activated my emergency lights, and initiated a traffic stop on his vehicle.
All right. And that traffic stop was initiated in the parking lot down the road at 12510 South Telegraph?
Yes, that'd be the Enterprise.
What was it?
Enterprise.
Enterprise. Okay.
And you maintained visual contact with the vehicle the entire time? Did you at some point identify the driver of that 2020 Ford Fusion, silver in color? All right. And just for purposes of the record, do you see that individual in the courtroom here today? And describe what he's wearing.
This might be the most damaging decision of the entire hearing. No cross-examination, no challenge to the radar, no questions about distance, calibration, or line of sight. If you don't contest the evidence, the record only has one story: the officer.
I'm wearing a brown suit and black undershirt.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that he has identified the defendant, Zachary Ryan Page, seated at counsel table.
The record shall still reflect.
Based on your reading and your observations, Corporal Schillenberg, did you then issue a citation to the defendant?
All right, so while we were on the traffic stop, I asked Mr. Page for his identification numerous times, which he refused to do so. I refused to do so. At that time, Sergeant Kish made the made my location. Mr. Page eventually ended up providing a driver's license to Sergeant Kish. At that time, I was able to issue no citation for the speeding organization.
Your Honor, I have no further questions this witness this time.
All right, Mr. Page, you have some questions for the witness? You're free to step to the podium just so the court reporter can take everything down.
No questions for the witness.
Okay. All right. Excuse Corporal Kish. Thank you.
People rested this time, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have anything you want to enter into the record?
I want to enter into the record that I'm here today making a special appearance under sue juris as one of the people of Michigan, not as a defendant under the jurisdiction of this court. I'm asserting my unalienable rights as secured by the Michigan Declaration of Rights under the United States Constitution, particularly under Article 1, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution, which establishes all political power is inherent in the people. At that outset, I raise jurisdictional challenge to this court.
Your Honor, may I interrupt? And I apologize for interrupting, but Corporal Schellberger is our traffic supervisor, and there's been an issue over the Taylor Police Department this morning.
He's free to go. Do you have any other questions for Corporal Schellberger?
No.
All right, Corporal Schellberger, you're excused.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, sir.
This outset, I raise jurisdictional challenge to the court, as jurisdiction must be proven on the record before any further proceedings can lawfully continue. The separation of powers doctrine, as outlined in Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution and the Michigan Constitution, makes it clear that no branch of government may exercise the powers of another. Before proceeding, I require clarification on whether this court is operating in a judicial capacity or administrative. If this court is acting under administrative directives or executive branch policies, rather than operating as a constitutionally recognized judicial body, then it is exceeding its lawful authority. No administrative agency, including the SOS, possesses lawful authority to direct judicial rulings or override the people's due process rights. Any attempt to enforce such directives constitutes an unconstitutional exercise of power, rendering these proceedings null and void ab initio. Furthermore, jurisdiction cannot be established by assumption, presumption, or coercion. Due process demands that I am provided with clear, lawful authority establishing the legitimacy of this court's jurisdiction over me. An individual exercising my constitutionally protected right to travel. Without such proof, this court is proceeding without lawful authority, and any ruling is issued a legal nullity. I now formally demand that this court is placed on the record the specific constitutional authority establishing jurisdiction over me as one of the people of Michigan, the legal basis that allows this court to act under administrative directives or executive policies without violating the separation of powers doctrine, proof that I was engaged in regulated commercial activity as no jurisdiction exists.
This ruling wasn't about beliefs or intentions. It came down to speed, location, and proof, all uncontested. Courts don't reward arguments that sound powerful, they rule on what's proven. And here, the evidence stood alone.
Absent clear evidence that I was operating as a licensee in commerce at the time of the alleged incident. Until these fundamental issues are resolved, I will not proceed under any assumption that this court has lawful jurisdiction over me. To do otherwise would be to waive my inherent rights, which I do not consent to. I stand firmly on my right to due process, equal protection, and the supremacy of constitutional law. The burden is on the prosecution and the court to establish jurisdiction before any further action can lawfully take place.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, I heard testimony today from Corporal Billy Schellberger. The standard for these hearings is not beyond a reasonable doubt, and there was no questions to Officer Schellberger that offered any contradictory testimony to the testimony that was issued in this case. Therefore, Mr. Page, I find you responsible of the civil infraction of speeding 11 to 15 over, and that has a fine of $130. Mr. Page, do you need time to pay?
I do.
Okay. How much? Can you pay in 30 days?
I mean, yeah, if I got on the payment plan.
All right. Well, would you rather pay something on a monthly basis?
Sure.
Can you pay $70 a month, $50 a month? Tell me what you,
50's good.
50 a month.
Yeah.
All right, they'll send you notice of the payment plan. Are you in Hidden Lane still?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Page, we'll receive notice